Episode 203. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We have the West Coast Avengers, not the East Coast Avengers, and we also have Dick Tracy. Let's talk about them right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, a novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to talk about West Coast Avengers here, but remember to give me that like and subscribe, and remember, too, that we have the Green Hornet anthology for the 90th anniversary live right now on Kickstarter, with amazing writers like Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for Star Wars, Kevin J. Anderson, who writes for Dune, and Bill Willingham, who wrote for Fables, with cover art by Matt Wagner of Batman and Grendel fame. We have some interior art going to be done by Dennis Calero, who did Marvel Noir. Lots of great stuff. We are like almost 75% or 70% already at our goal in 48 hours. So let's help us get over that little hump and start unleashing our stretch goals so everybody gets some free stuff. Go to greenhornetnoir.com or click the link in the description below. All right, so let's jump into the West Coast Avengers. So I'm still not sold on this thing after 3 issues. This is Jerry Duggan writing this, and he's always been like a hit and miss kind of guy. Mostly miss, but occasionally he hits. So this is Tony Stark and Rhodey decided to do their own Thunderbolts, which makes no sense. We already have Thunderbolts. I don't know why the West Coast Avengers has to be a Thunderbolts. It's him trying to be, I guess, I don't know, trying to show that he's PC or something like that. Saying, hey, we can rehabilitate the criminals. We'll put them on the Avengers. So I have, I just talked about this in Titans. You have Killer Frost on the Justice League, and you have Ultron and this guy named Blue Bolt on the West Coast Avengers. Can't these things be made up of good guys? Why are we constantly putting bad guys on these fucking superhero teams? I don't get it. I don't understand the fascination of putting villains into heroic roles. I just don't understand it. But anyway, that's where we're at. So we found out, too, because I'm like, there's no way that Ultron is going to be, a good guy. And then he also has Firestar on here. She just came on. She's a heavy alcoholic. I don't know what's going on there. If she's never been that way, I don't even know what the hell's going on there. And you have Spider-Woman on here, who's probably one of the only normal ones outside of Rhodey, and even Tony's acting a little strange here. I don't really know. But anyway, we start out with Hank Pym. So this is all about Ultron. I'm not even sure I like the artwork in here. I know it's supposed to be a throwback art, but it's just weird. And we're learning about what happened with Ultron. So I guess Ultron created more of himself, and then decided that each one of them was not going to be a hive mind anymore. That each one of them was going to be different to a certain extent. One grows wings, whatever, and they were all going to go off and be good guys, I guess. I don't know. They're all going to be something else. They're no longer going to want to rule the world anymore. Now they want to have ice cream. I don't really know. No, it's really... Well, I just want a villain, man. Why can't we have a villain? So anyway, we have all these people that are like in robot bodies and human heads all over the place that are disciples of Ultron. And we actually found out one of these girls was associated with Spider-Woman, with Jessica, and we actually saw him remove her head and put it on the robot body. It was kind of gross, but that's what it is. And we have them all kind of like up here. This is not the one that's on the team, by the way. This is a different Ultron. So if you're confused already, don't be confused alone. So there's Blue Bolt, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you now. Look at me." And they're like, "How about I blast you?" So he did. And then Tony's like, "Yeah, you can hit him a few more times, but 3 strikes and you're out after that." I'm like, wow, you have no problem with your team member getting smoked. Oh my God. And so now the Ultrons are talking to one another and like, "What are you doing? You're messing up these people, etc." And then this battle is about to take place, and the Ultrons are like, "No, don't do that." He's like, "No, don't do that. You're gonna be causing trouble." And Blue Bolt, picks his ass up. And that's where Jessica realizes this is a friend of hers that was in the hospital. And she's like, "No, Ultron saved me." And and Firestar decides to give them all sunburns. I'm not even kidding. They all have sunburns. Hopefully they're not 3rd-degree burns, but I think they're just 1st-degree burns, so whatever. And this guy pisses Ultron off because he keeps fighting. So Ultron decides to take all his guts out. I don't think that happens yet. That's not the next one. So Rhodey decides to make sure that everybody stays where they are, and he fires at their feet. I hope nobody moves because they're going to get bullets in their legs. But whatever. I don't know what's going on here. And Jessica's like, "I have to really look into this. I want to talk to you later." And there's the dude that pisses Ultron off. And Ultron decides, and he's got this whole building here that's all covered in wires and stuff like that. And here's what he does to the guy. He has like the stuff all come out of him. His arm falls off. And he's like, "What are you doing to the guy?" And they take him to the hospital. I have no idea what you can possibly... You might as well take him to the freaking mechanic. You might have a better chance because there's absolutely nothing that a hospital's going to do with this guy when he's only a head. So stupid. So Tony's like, "What are you doing, Firestar? You can't just burn people." And she's like, "Yeah, everybody lived. Don't worry about it." There's some heroes for you, man. There's 21st century heroes for you. Yeah. They're still alive. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so he tells Ultron to stand guard, but he says, "No, Jessica's already gone up there, and we shouldn't affect what she's doing, give her away." So, meanwhile, Blue Bolt, who is a villain and is in prison. Let me get that through to you. Tony's in the voiceovers like, "I can't imagine what he's going through. It must be very difficult to go back to prison every..." What are you talking about? He's a villain. My God. And I guess they all meet up, and Tony's like, he meets with the Illuminati. And they're like, "Well, I'm just going to have to do this on my own because Emma's not going to help or anything like that." And then on the next issue, we have Firestar, be boyfriend and girlfriend with the villain now. What has happened to comic books, man? I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I don't like any of this storyline. I just think it's so flimsy. You've got villains everywhere. You have villains everywhere. You got 2 Ultrons in here that are good guys, and then you have the one villain that's a good guy, and then you have Firestar supposed to be a good guy and is acting evil. I'm going to get a couple more issues of this to see if it just kind of works itself out. But I'm pretty close to saying sayonara. Will make a good movie? No, man. This is god awful, man. Jerry Duncan, get off those drugs, man. Get off those drugs, Jerry. But didn't he just write that Marvel? I think last year, was it last year or the year before? About the Celestial that would come down and it was supposed to judge everyone. Look at that turned out. It was a piece of shit. I did like his recent Iron Man, but it was only still mediocre. But I liked it because I haven't got an Iron Man book in like forever. All right, so let's jump into Dick Tracy. So Dick Tracy, this is about the Blank. So the Blank is like killing people, and like one of their cops, with a female cop that they had, she was trying to take an initiative here with Tess, I think. I think they were kind of trying to work together. But anyway, she ended up getting in the middle of it, and she got slashed across the face by the Blank. And I'm very confused about a piece of this, and I hope you guys maybe can help me if any of you guys are reading this at all. Or maybe you can just gauge what's going on from what I tell you here. But Pat Patton and Dick Tracy are, and I thought the artwork's only okay in this book, but I do like how it's getting grittier and grittier, and we're getting more of a cop show situation going on here. But anyway, we're investigating another guy who's dead, and they infer from this later on that the guy that had a similar MO to this. And then Tess shows up, and there's the girl that has the slash across her face, you can see. But yet she doesn't go at all to the ambulance. What the hell? She doesn't go to the hospital, she goes to the ambulance, she goes through nothing. She needs stitches, man. They just know. You get back to work. Wow. Wow, I don't know how it was back in the 50s, but that's pretty nasty. But anyway, he yells at Tess for reporting on this and giving away the fact that they were coming. So he's pretty pissed off, and he pretty much says, go away. So I assume that their relationship's going to be on the rocks a little bit here. But he goes to the bar where I guess one of the guys was killed, who was working for this other mobster. And that's Breathless Mahoney there, and she kind of comes on to him by singing to him. She's in rehearsal right now, and there's the owner of the club, who is, I don't know his name, but anyway, they ended up meeting. The guy's name who was killed was named Stooge, of course, but I don't see the guy's name from the bar. But anyway, so he goes to meet with him, and he's like, look, I don't want to strong arm you. I'm not really here to do anything with you, but I want some information about, who Stooge was hanging out with, etc. And he's trying to get some clues together about who would have killed him. And the guy's like, of course I didn't kill him. And he's like, yeah, I pretty much figured that. But any information they have, and, the guy's like, let's not make this a tit-for-tat situation, so don't come in here and raid my shit to think I'm holding back information or anything like that. So there was warnings that were all over the place. And I kind of like this where he is looking down on all the pictures and trying to get a bird's eye view of the larger picture. I thought that was pretty good visual storytelling there. And he's like, what were you trying to tell me? And he's basically thinking back to the body. And this is where he kind of figures out that it was the MO of one of the other guys. And, this is where he's getting pissed at Tess because Tess is reporting on this stuff. And it's like messing him up, and it's starting to possibly cause a panic in the streets. But anyway, so they, I think they talk to Some guys at the police station. They're talking to one of the doctors. Anyway, they're trying to piece things together. And I love how they go to this is not a computer. That is microfiche. if you don't, most people don't even know what microfiche is because this is before the days of computers. So anyway, he starts looking, and what you did with that was that you looked at past periodicals, past newspapers and stuff like that. They were all photographed and put on these microfiche so that you didn't have all these newspapers that were disintegrating. Instead, you had this film that you could reel through on that thing. And we took a class on how to do that, on how to look through periodicals. Of course, now you type into Google, and that's the extent of that. So all the class and everything else I took is for nothing. But anyway, the girl cop is like, they tell her to stay back and sort of like that, and monitor the lines and any kind of information that she's able to pull to communicate with them. So they end up going to try to find the guy that just got out of prison that has the MO of the guy that was killed, and they get shot at. So Pat's like, he tells Pat to draw their fire, and he's going to go try something. He's basically going to try to go flank. And the guy's like, kill them. But anyway, his flanking work. He ends up behind them, and he tells them to drop their weapons, etc. And he's like, where's the dude that he thinks killed Stooge? And he's like, I'll take it to him, but it's not going to do you a damn bit of good. And he doesn't know what he means at the time. And this is where I get confused. So he takes them in the back there all the way to Stooge, the guy who he thought killed Stooge, but the guy has no hands. So this is why I'm confused. Did the blank cut off the guy's hands as retribution for him killing Stooge? Or is he trying to match the MO? Is the blank trying to match the MO of the guy to pin it on him? But then if he did that, why would he cut his hands off? I'm a little bit confused by any of that. But this is where he tells Tess to go home. He's like, you caused enough trouble with all your reporting. And then he's like, well, what if it wasn't her reporting that, tipped the blank off to what we were doing and what we were looking for the guy, etc. How did he know? And then they realize that the blank is probably a cop. Really, I like this storyline a lot better than the last one. The last one was decent, but it just didn't really end very well. This one has a lot more, I think, danger. There's a lot more dread and danger surrounding it. So I really like where this is. I think I would love to see another Dick Tracy movie that isn't as flamboyant as Warren Beatty's was. Warren Beatty's was fun with Madonna, but it wasn't gritty. This is more gangster gritty. And then West Coast Avengers, nah, man, this is shit. And I'm just gonna see if it turns out his shit a little bit in the next couple issues. If not, I'm gone. I am gone. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. Any kind of interaction you do with the channel always helps. And if you can't subscribe, please do. I try to put something out almost every day. And remember, too, that Green Hornet is live and almost funded already. So let's jump in there now and get us over that finish line. Go to greenhornetnoir.com or click the link in the description below. Remember Timothy Zahn, Kevin J. Anderson, all the major writers that everybody loves. So you can't go wrong. All right, so let's get that thing over the finish line. Again, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next episode.